allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call. Larry?
Here.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Jeannie? Here. Joey?
Yes.
Herb?
Yes.
Okay, reading of the minutes, the regular town board meeting, date April 8th, 2013, time 7 p.m. at the Altona Town Hall, Altona, New York. Supervisor Ross called the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance, board members present. Supervisor Larry Ross. Council members Jeannie Bushy, Joey Snide, Herbert Tarian, Ronnie Labarge. Others present, Deputy Supervisor Ellen Montgomery, Highway Superintendent Fred Tarian. Minutes of the March 11th, 2013 regular town board meeting were read and accepted. Motion by Joey, seconded by Ronnie. Vote all ayes. Resolution number 27, speed limit request, Burnell Road. Motion by Herbert Tarian, seconded by Jeannie Bushy. The motion was adopted. The board was approached at the town board meeting of October 8th, 2013 by several residents of the Burnell Road with a signed petition requesting a 35-mile-per-hour speed limit for the road. People in attendance stated their concern for the children living in the area. It is a dead-end road approximately 1 mile in length from the minor farm road to the dead end. Vote all ayes. The town is presently in the process of a regular audit, as is several other towns in the area. Resolution number 28, concession stand. Motion by Herb, seconded by Ronnie. Motion adopted. The clerk is directed to advertise in the Plattsburgh Press Republican requesting bids for the operation of the concession stand at Feinberg Park. Cost not to exceed $100. Vote all ayes. Resolution number 29, resignation, Youth Commission. Motion by Joey, seconded by Herb. The motion was adopted. The board accepted the resignation of Jamie Labarge as chairman of the Youth Commission, effective as of this date, April 8th, 2013. Vote all ayes. Resolution number 30, Youth Commission appointment. Motion by Joey, seconded by Ronnie. The motion is adopted. The town board appointed James Burnell as coordinator of the Youth Commission for the 2013 season. Vote Larry, Ronnie, Herb, Joey, ayes, Jeannie, abstain. Resolution number 31, supervisor's report. Motion by Jeannie, seconded by Joey. The motion is adopted. To accept the supervisor's report as presented. Vote all ayes. Resolution number 32, approval of bills. Motion by Herb, seconded by Ron. The motion was adopted. To pay the bills as presented. General fund, $10,898.11. Highway fund, $6,958.86. Streetlight District Number 1, $1,118.69. Streetlight District Number 21, $213.89. Total, $19,189.55. Vote all ayes. Motion to adjourn by Joey, seconded by Jeannie. Vote all ayes. Respectfully submitted. Carol Relation, Town Clerk.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as read.
I second it.
And a vote, please. Herb,
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Joey,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Jeannie.
Yes.
Okay, first thing on our agenda, NBT Lattimore Insurance wants to give a little presentation about our policy, and it's Mr. Brian Lapeer.
Pen on the work, please.
Larry, so the insurance policy renewed effective May
first with Trident Insurance Company. This is just a brief overview of the coverages that the county has as part of the policy. So if you want to just get into it, page 2 is just it's basically a copy of the agency team. Tina Crawford, she is the assistant. She deals with any service type issues, certificates of insurance, ID cards, that type of thing. Myself, I'm the producer, so I deal with coverage issues. Meet with you to go over the insurance policies, I gather the information, and we move forward. Beth Herrick, she is a resource champion, it's called, and basically what we have is an online risk management tool that a lot of our public entities have taken advantage of. Highway superintendent would be something for him to take advantage of. And basically what it does is it helps with any type of pest regulations that may come up. Pest is the public entity of OSHA, essentially. So if you have any OSHA violations or pest violations, this is all stuff that we can do for you. Written documents that put you in compliance, she will take care of all of that. Town handbook, another good one. We can update your town handbook if you have one. If not, we can provide you one just to get you on track and everything. Moving to page 3, we'll get actually into the coverages. If you go down to property limits where it says location 0, building 0, you have blanket building contents of 968,000. What's that mean? Well, essentially you have coverage through your first, you have two locations with 4 buildings. It's all combined, okay? So for example, if this building were to have a loss, and let's say it's $300,000 to replace it, you've got $968,000 to do so. And it's agreed value, so there's no co-insurance penalty. It's a pretty well-written product here, so. Business income, extra expense, $250,000. This really doesn't pay a whole lot to municipalities. It's more of if you're a retail business and you go down and you can't operate. I mean, if you went down, town hall went down, you could rent a location, which is what this would cover, and continue to do business as normal. Breakdown, you have a boiler, high pressure unit, something internal happens, combust, you've got coverage for that as well. It's coverage up to the building and identity theft, they throw in $5,000 just as a bonus coverage. If you have questions, please just stop me. Next page, page 4, we have general liability. We've got a $1,006 million limit. Okay, so essentially you have $1 million per occurrence, which means any one claim you have up to $1 million in coverage. $6 million to use throughout the year. Okay, that's a lot. I mean, that's more than I see in a lot of my public entities, so we should feel good about that. What's this cover? You get hosting the town ball, slips and falls, trips over a hole, breaks your ankle, sues you, coverage for that. Walking on the sidewalk, in the wintertime, slips and falls, sues you, coverage for that as well. Page 5, this is your equipment floater. Okay. You can see it towards the top, we have street highway department equipment with a limit of $428,000 and change. This is essentially your plows, your sanders, your dump trucks, that type of thing. We place the physical damage coverage on the inland marine because it's cheaper. Deductible's lower, it's cheaper rate, so this is the best for you. $31,200 of unscheduled equipment. This is equipment that would leave the premises. So it would leave the highway to garage, it would leave town hall. It's when you're on the road and you're at a job site, it's coverage for that.
Now, is the insurance for damage, is that the actual value or the replacement
It's
value?
replacement value.
what's the limit per vehicle? I mean, do you require that?
It's all, sorry, you should have.
Oh, that's okay.
But it's all, we have all the scheduled equipment.
Right through here, values.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if our highway superintendent, have you seen those values?
No, they,
Fred, you may wanna look at those, make sure that they're accurate, because if they aren't, we could be hurt by it in the event of a
Yeah, we
property
wanna try to
damage
get
to the
these
vehicle.
updated each year,
Yeah.
you know. Sometimes you may add a piece of equipment throughout the year, it's good to keep them as up to date as
So
possible.
you can be notified once he has a chance to review that. so
Yep, I can come sit with you, yep, definitely. All right, so page 6 is again, just more of the equipment, and I will sit down and we'll go over that, with the highway superintendent, when we get to move it. Page 7 is your business auto. This is coverage for any property damage, bodily injury that may cause from an automobile or a truck or plow or however. We've got $1 million in coverage. You guys also carry an umbrella, which I'll get to at some point, so you really have more than $1 million, but $1 million primary coverage at this point. You have hired and non-owned, $1 million. You have an employee run an errand for the town of Altona, something happens, gets in an accident, their personal insurance is primary, you could be brought into a lawsuit. It's entity coverage for that, so it's to defend you against a lawsuit, should something like that happen. Page 8 and page 9. Page 8 and 9 are a list of the vehicles that we have and your heavy equipment that is plated. So again, just review this and let me know if there's any changes. I know we've worked through Danielle and she's given us an updated list, so but we just want to make sure everything is okay with that. So again, it's any heavy equipment that you might have plated, or your trucks, your pickup trucks, whatever you have on the policy, as long as it's plated, it's gotta be up here.
Plated, you mean on the road?
Right.
Say, for instance, we had a fire, say, for instance, in the town garage, is that the estimated amount for all the equipment for 428,000?
That's your heavy equipment, that's your,
Say, for instance, the 4 plows are in there,
yes.
that's all that would cover?
That's coverage for your plows, your sanders, your dump trucks. Yeah.
But actually, that wouldn't be nowhere near enough coverage to cover
Is that for
4 of those
each?
trucks.
Or is that for
That's
total?
total.
No, this is, what the 428 is your schedule of equipment right here. Okay? So everything that you see on the schedule is, that's what the 428 is. Your tractor, your plows, your sanders, everything, that's on your auto. The physical damage is on the auto.
Now, is that the replacement value as well?
No. That is actual cash value when it's on the auto.
Do you offer replacement value?
Well, I can look into that, I can check. I know a lot of carriers will do, if it's 10 years or newer, we'll give you replacement
Right.
cost.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
So like if there is a fire in there, you have a couple of different, you got fire insurance plus you have that.
Correct, you have fire insurance on the building, so if some of the tools and whatever got burned, that'd be part of the 968,000, that's your blanket building contents. Your physical damage for your vehicles are on the auto, and then your equipment, your mowers, your generators, whatever else you may have is on the inland marine.
So that's a separate,
That's a separate policy, correct?
which means that it would be set off against the 900,000.
here, you all ended up.
We'll give it a one. That way.
So, for example, under the highway department equipment with 428, we have 5 slushers and 5 wings, valued at One's valued at 10,000 each, the other's at 5,000. So you've got $75,000 of scheduled coverage for those wings and slushers. Under the auto, we have your equipment, your heavier equipment, your plows, sanders, dump trucks. That's under the auto, the physical damage. With $1,000 deductible for comp and collision. So again, I will get with Fred, and we'll go over the equipment. I think that's probably one of the areas that we want to make sure we get everything. And what you want to do with the equipment is schedule anything over 1,000. Anything unscheduled, 1,000 or over, doesn't cover. It's gotta be 1,000 under. So anything over 1,000, we want to get on the schedule. And it's cheaper for you because there's a rate difference from the schedule. All right. Let's see, page 10 is OCP requirements and New York State requirement. You're doing any work for the roads, state, city of New York roads, or town roads, you're required to carry the OCP. OCP stand for Owner's Contractor Protective Liability Policy. It is taken out in the state's, the county's name, and every municipality has to do this. Page 11, this is your crime coverage. We have $5,000 of public employee dishonesty. In addition to, we have scheduled of excess coverage for folks that handle the money. So supervisor, deputy supervisor, tax collector are on all here for excess coverage as well. Page 12, this is your public officials liability, this is your board coverage. This is what's gonna prevent you, if something happens, you make a decision as a board and it's unsettling to someone and you decide to sue the board, this is your coverage. You've got 1 million, 4 million, which again, these limits are good. Let's see, page 13, this is your umbrella coverage. So whenever I told you you had $1 million in coverage, you actually have $2 million in coverage.
That's liability only, is it?
That's liability, correct, not property. So, so that your general liability, you have $2 million, $7 million aggregate. That's how it works. It's just stacked, basically. Once your general liability is exhausted, your umbrella will kick in. Okay? And page 14, summary of premium. We quite honestly have not seen this in a couple of years, with the premiums lower than expiring. The market that we're in, we're seeing anywhere from 7 to 9.9% increase. 9.9 because if they get to 10, they have to send legal notice out if they're increasing by 10% more. So they try to keep it under the 10th so they don't have to notify you. But here, we got them to go down. This is obviously my first year working with you folks, and this is what I do. I mean, I meet my companies to try to do the best that we can for you guys. So it's no different. But
I just got one question.
absolutely,
On the umbrella insurance
Yeah.
coverage, does that cover all aspects of
all
like the
liability.
garages?
It's just liability.
Just liability,
It's not
okay.
property. Yep.
All right.
It's just your liability, so your general liability, your auto liability,
Okay,
your board liability, public officials.
okay,
It's excess coverage over that.
all right.
What's the coverage for the auto? It could also cover the vehicles that are plated, for purposes of property damage to the vehicles.
Yep, it's
What's the limit on that?
$1 million.
On that as well?
Yes. Yep. that,
That's the auto liability.
yep, you go to the actual auto page for the whole schedule.
Combined.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Tax written down here on page 14, taxes, for the municipality that pay taxes.
This is what we adopted.
I'll have to look at that then.
Ryan,
Yes.
the schedule of vehicles.
Yes.
These are the plated vehicles, not the automobile. Where is the value? Is the value been agreed upon?
Well, no, it goes by actual cash value.
Okay. So far, unless.
So far, unless we can give them some. Yep.
I think it is available.
A lot of the carriers will, and maybe this is on there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they have to be
10 years or newer.
newer.
Correct, and then you will get replacement costs. But I will double check with that, yeah.
Thank you.
This came out different than your original quote was 18 something, so it was 18,579.55. So I'll go back to and see.
I'm sure that didn't include the crime, because that's a separate company. 18,579?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. If you take 1903, back to 971, should give you 18,500, because everything is written with, right, it's set for the crime, it's separate, that's a separate policy. Just double checking, let me know.
All right.
What's the difference in the premium from last year?
Last year, pretty much, it's right in the very, almost the last page. Two more pages. Did that work out?
Compared to this, right, 731.45? Is it different? Is that what we?
No, it was
18,579 plus the 971, or sorry, 867, my apologies. There you go.
Plus the 867?
Fantastic. Because when we added that access position, we added Carol. So it was
See right here, Bill?
$100
Page
more.
5.
947.55.
Yeah.
And then you gotta check it.
This is
Yeah, I'll check it with tax. Check on
Taxes
the,
and fees.
600.
There should be an explanation of
Well, that
what
says
those
option.
fees are.
I'll check on that. I'll check on that. I'll check on the 10 years.
Yeah.
Is that, that's all the trucks? Okay, very good.
Well, I'm just curious to see what.
Yeah, I would guess about the taxes.
Check on this map right here.
He's gonna check on
I'll check on that, I'll check on the replacement costs.
Right,
This,
and this is here, is that all the trucks right here?
No. that's this. Everything you see here,
Yeah. That's the equipment.
that's, your scheduled equipment is right here. So that's your slushers, your wings, your trucks are on the auto.
I'm on the, okay.
Physical damage is on the auto. Yep.
questions of Brian? Clear? What I would like to be able to do is to have the town board members pass a resolution that I can renew with Brian upon Fred's going over that, and the question of the
Yep.
tax. And that way we won't have to wait a month, because our renewal policies, you know, it's time to put it in effect. So, if you give me that permission, with the idea that Fred's gonna go through the figures with him, and the things that we want to check on there.
You need a motion?
Let's pass it.
My number's,
We'll get together on this.
yep, anytime, just give me a call and I'll
It's
schedule
like
it.
10 minutes to say, if you got flow sand there, the whole box and all, that would be,
I'll have to look at it,
is
yeah.
it cane or,
No, it's actually, it's,
because you're like value,
It may, so.
$5,000 something to replace that, that flow sand.
okay,
You gotta set it.
let's, sit down, yep, you let me know when it's good, and, just give me a call, my number is, turn on there, it's direct line, and then you'll know how to do it.
Well, you can always come back and
Just
just
like
increase
date.
Yep.
Date.
need to.
Let me know when's good for you, give me a couple days, and
Additional.
I'll come up and I'll meet with you.
You need a motion?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we'll give Larry permission to go ahead with the policy once it's been reviewed.
I'll second it. We got one.
The understanding is it may be more or less depending upon.
Sure.
You check that.
Yep.
I got everything that was ready.
Can we have a vote on that, please? Larry?
Yes.
Jeannie?
Yes.
Herb?
Yes.
Joey?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Fred.
Now, you're gonna find in your bills, you're gonna find the amount of the basic policy. What we'll do is so that we don't lose coverage, that'll take care of the basic policy, and then when we check this replacement costs and the tax and that kind of thing, I'll get in contact with the board. It may be a little bit more money, so we'll hang on to that check till we find out and go from there. At least this way where we don't have a lapse in coverage.
Okay.
But I did check other places. I didn't realize they needed such a lead time for one, and secondly, I didn't realize that it ran out that quickly. I thought I had another month added on there, I didn't. I've already alerted the other companies for another year, but one company got back to me and said that if we were tried it, they wouldn't be able to do any better anyways, that was the best coverage you could get, so. I did check, I did try to get quotes from two other companies, and they said to really do this, they needed quite a lot of lead time, but they assured me that that was a pretty good price for what we got. Okay, let's see. Youth Commission is next. Mindy? Before I do that, before I let you have the floor, I want a motion by the board accepting Mindy Guerin and Deanna Gregory as co-chairs of the Youth Commission. And they're taking the place of Jamie Labarge, who resigned and couldn't. So I'd like a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Gregory.
Yes.
And what do you call him?
They're co-chairs of the youth commission.
Okay, and a vote please. Herb,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Joey,
Yes.
Ronnie.
And secondly, Jason Bushy, I would like to have replace Jamie Labarge, who resigned. Steve Thune will replace Kim Lajway, who would run out this year, and who was also asked to be taken off. So I need a motion to accept those two new board members.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Don't agree with that, maybe didn't.
I don't have anything.
No, their names.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
the
Okay, just don't vote.
Yeah.
That's kind of important. Could we vote, please? Joey,
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Herb,
Yes.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes. Okay, now, Mindy had a question. She's trying to send the kids to see the Lake Monsters game and run into a little bit of snag, and she wants to make sure she has a legal approach to it. Mindy, you wanna-
Right, we contacted the county youth bureau, and they said that there's no stipulations to fundraise with the sole purpose through them, as long as we don't force any child to work at this fundraiser. But she wanted me to check with you to make sure that we could have like a bottle drive and a car wash type thing to raise money with the sole purpose, just to take the kids to Lake Monsters.
After the meeting, I'd like to talk to you more about the
Okay.
specifics so that we
Okay.
know that you're
Mhm.
exactly what we're talking about.
Okay.
All right. Also, maybe Fred can answer some of this question. We need something to work on the fields with. I didn't know if the Bobcat type thing or the skid steer would do that, drag the fields and stuff with that, or I don't know if that would work, or if that,
I mean, drag them.
like, they
Drag, you mean?
drag them, they
They have to.
Smooth them out.
Field.
level them out kind of thing.
Has to
I don't
be
know if
done
that would be a
every
good.
game.
What do you got to put behind it though?
Yeah.
I don't know what he uses, but,
Yeah.
they used to drag it with a four-wheeler.
We don't have a drag.
Is it?
No, he has the equipment, he just
The-
doesn't have
the
anything to pull it.
With the sand,
Yeah,
and it has to be done like every day, every.
No, because he
every
used to drag it with the four-wheeler, but he blew it up last year trying to
You
drag
got
it.
the York rake out there.
Right.
It's not equipment,
What to use to pull.
Yeah, right.
To use.
it's just something to pull it with. We got the equipment that we need up there, I guess. All we need is something to pull the equipment with, and they got me quotes on stuff that other people use, but I don't know if we have something already in existence. The only thing I know we have small enough would be the skid steer, but I don't know if that would be good the way it turned, I don't know.
No, you can tear it, you can steer, you got girls on the tractor, and we got deer.
Yeah, that's.
That would never do it, I
That
don't
would
think,
never
for a
do it.
little lawn tractor.
No, the one, the bucket.
The bucket, no, that,
Was that a 40 horse, 50 horse?
yeah.
Well, that would definitely pull it, whether it would not, it would give us more trouble with, the bouncing and stuff, I don't know that.
Try it.
Yeah, that's really new. Is there something in mind that you had thought of before, or it's?
No, I mean, he used to use his own four-wheeler and apparently blew it up, pulling on this thing. I know Gerald's protective of his tractor, but,
Right.
the only other thing they have is these side-by-sides, and they have some that are out there that are used and that kind of thing. I don't know if the board would want to do that, or you want to try to use that tractor and try to do it that way. She brought me some quotes just in case. And they range anywhere from, looks like anywhere from like 3,500 to like 10,000, depends on what you want to get. They have a 2006 Yamaha Rhino 660, which is 4,800 minus, I don't know what that minus is, it says 5184, so it's around, it's a little more than 5,000. They have another one, 2008 Quick Link, whatever that is, front front runner, it says 500 for 3780. So we got 3780, we got 5184, and we got this one for 10,100, which is
There's another.
brand new.
You got three more.
One from Jack.
Oh, and now, this is Robert's, okay, yeah, this is.
That's Jack.
Then we have a Cub Cadet 2006 for 69, that's with a cab. They have a 2007 Cub Cadet 4x4 5900, that's a 2007, a 2005 for 4700. The only thing I was thinking of, I would hate to spend the money just to drag the ball field, but I was wondering if it was something that you could use also on sidewalks, I don't know that. If it's something else you could make some use out of. Well,
What's that John Deere you're talking
You know, that definitely, you know,
the big tractor would do it if it isn't too big to.
yeah, that's just it, I don't think it's gonna, you know, turn any, you know, make any type of, not nuts, of course, but, you know. I'll try it just once anyway, and see.
Try to see what we can do with it. We can always go back to this, they aren't going anywhere, I mean, the used ones might be gone, but there'll always be others, so.
Right.
All right. The board all feel the same way, wanna try to use the tractor, see what we can do with it?
about. Yeah, here.
Just give it a, yeah, give it one shot, see what happens.
It's just something that we don't have to have
Yeah.
accessible
Yeah, I don't know
every day,
where he puts it. 'Cause
basically, every day, because
getting it away from Gerald may not be a treat,
That's why he needs to have it every day.
pretty much, right?
yeah, every day
Yes.
there's things.
Yeah, when they're mowing, you'll have to mow with it. We'll try to see if it works out first, and then if it doesn't, well,
Yeah, we'll bring it back.
there it is.
How often do you have to do that?
You have to do it every day there's a game.
Oh, every
It
day.
has to be done for
I only got
every
to drag
game.
it out, drag it.
And I know, like, as the
And
grass,
that's, you know, that's, most of the time, it's probably gonna be at least 2 fields, maybe 3.
when the
because there's a
grass is
lot of nights
growing,
there's
he
3 games.
mows steady too, so, you know, Gerald mows steady now when the grass is growing.
More every time.
I don't think, no, as long as you lift the mower up, you should be fine. No, that shouldn't be an issue. No, no, because you're just pulling in,
I don't know what you're calling.
you're just going.
Well, we'll check it out, and if I have to
Yeah.
go back with the board, I'll pull you that way, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
If need be, I mean, you know, we can.
Might be something that we wanna check into, because if they needed that much on the ball field. You know, if he's using the other one to mow, you can't have that then.
Yeah, I've got money in the park equipment fund, so I could possibly get something, I just wanna make sure we get a money's worth out of it, you know what I mean? Same token, you don't want something everybody else is running around with and ruining either.
Well, the thing is,
Relax.
even if it can't be used for other than that, it's, if it's used solely for that and it's taken care of, it's gonna
Should
last,
for a long time.
you know, quite a few years, if that's all it's used for.
You have to hide it after the season.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be
Yeah.
locked in the powerhouse like anything else, I guess, but. So,
If you wanna, I'm gonna kinda suggest that if he wants to look for something.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's not an issue, you know, I think we should just try, I would like to see if that tractor would work. And if not,
You can go
in the same token, I take it the four-wheeler was too small apparently, that's why they had.
I think so.
Even, it was an older 4-wheeler, it was Dad's 4-wheeler that he's
So,
been using
okay.
for years. Shop, it was his
Right,
own
right,
personal
right.
equipment. In the shop.
So, yeah, so you'd like to get something probably a little bit bigger, just
A
so
little bigger.
it wouldn't, you know,
In the same
be
situation.
stressful on it, you know.
Yeah. See, I got it.
well, some of these things, like these side-by-side things, they got the little dump box would be kind of handy for that kind of thing, you carry your stuff with you and that kind of thing, so.
Right.
I'll look around too, whether they got these quotes, so we got an idea of how much we have to think about.
You need a motion, like, for a certain amount of money, and then if you decide that the other doesn't work, you don't have to.
I think what I'll do is I pull the board,
All right.
I'll pull the board if it doesn't look like we're gonna be able to work,
Okay.
and I'll get over
Yeah.
it.
Good idea.
That way we get a chance to try it, and at the same time, if it doesn't, I'll get a hold of you and we'll go from there. I also have the request for the Terry Burnell Memorial Tournament Committee. So we would like permission to hold our annual tournament on July 13th, 2013 for Pee Wee boys. As in the past, this is a fundraiser to benefit our youth in the town of Altona. We have provided 2 scholarships each year for graduates in Northern Adirondack School, made improvements to our recreation fields. We have built 2 dugouts, replaced one of the backstops, and plans are underway to replace the backstop at the field. We built the dugouts. We hope this will be done before league play this season. This event is at no charge to the participants and is meant to be a fun day for all with trophies and prizes. Since we will have a mobile concession stand, we understand we should inform the operator of the park concession and come to an agreement for that day. We thank you for granting us permission to hold this consideration. Just want to make a motion of the board to allow this to happen on May 13th. Or, I'm sorry, not May 13th, July 13th.
July?
13th? Yeah, July 13th.
We need a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
And a vote, please. Herb?
Yes.
Jeannie? Larry?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Joey?
Yes. Okay, the next thing on there is standard workday. Got a couple of letters here about the standard workday, and I don't know, I thought that it was almost impossible to do. What we have to do is for every position in the town, we have to make a calendar, a 3-month calendar for all your board members, Fred, Danielle, every position we have. We gotta come up with a 3-month calendar, and it has to fit into these categories. And it says 6-hour workday or an 8-hour workday. And I called the woman, I said, what are you trying to do, make me a liar? I said, there's no way I can sign something saying that the part-time people are working 6 hours a day. I said, we aren't, none of us. I said, we're lucky we work 6 hours a week. And she said, well, we understand that. She said, but that's what they're gonna do. The board has to decide if they wanna base it all on 8-hour days or on 8 for the full-timers and 6 for the part-timers or whatever. And then, she said it has this formula where you calculate it to come out with, it's for retirement points is what it is. And once I called her, I understood it better. It isn't quite as bad as I thought, but we do have to have a 3-month calendar. I got it extended so that we can fit that in, but we need to start a calendar right this month, right off. So we have this month included and next month. And so what it is whenever you work it out, like, for example, tonight, on your calendar, May 13th, 2-hour meeting or 3-hour meeting or whatever it is, and then whatever you do next and so on. It's not call-in things. I mean, you can't like, you know, if I get called in the middle of the night, somebody has problems, it's not that, it's just when you're working here. Even though it doesn't affect every single one of us, we all have to have one in so that they can understand it. Brought Danielle here in case, because I didn't know anything about this to begin with. I just thought it was, I had done it years ago with Carol. We haven't done it in a long, long time. And it says it has to be done every year. Well, to me, once it's done and you've got it figured out, I can see keeping the 3-month calendar and recalculating the total, but it's pretty much done for you once you keep it up, so we need to get it done the first time. Danielle, did I forget anything on that?
They're telling you that it has to be done yearly?
Yeah.
Every 3 months, 3 consecutive months every year.
In 2010, when this first was passed by the state legislature with the comptroller's office, and it was required to be done once within 5 years.
Well, last time we did it was like 92 or something.
No, we did it because I prepared my reporting period, which was from January 1st, 2010 through March, the end of March, and sent that to you. For the hours that I worked for that 3-month period. It's my understanding from the original law that was required to be done every 5 years, not every year.
And she's talking yearly now, I don't know if they've changed it or
I
there's
just
some.
need to speak to her, because that's not what the rule was back in 2010 when this was first adopted by the town, and we have a resolution, in fact, referring to the specific regulation.
Well, her latest thing, when I talked to her on the phone, was it's a yearly thing, and we got a book that's like 200
265 pages.
of regulations, so
Right.
by the time we sort through it, no. That's why I said, I've gotta call, by the time I read that, it'd be too late to do it, so. We've got the manual, she ran it all off, so it's a matter of, and once I talked to the lady, I got a better understanding, and she wasn't too bad to work with, so she moved the time, and I think I understand it enough now to get that done. But if everyone would start their calendar, include this month in it, so we've got May, June, July will be our 3 months that we write down.
But how can you do that? We're into the, if you're keeping records of your time, how are you going to go back to the first? You basically have to write down your time whenever you're working on town business.
Right.
I don't know how you can start going back to the first. We need to start from a specific date, which is,
Well, if we were gonna go back to the first, probably the only way would be
I-
go back into the minutes. Start
well, I
the
mean, it would be
meeting and end of the meeting.
difficult for me if I'm, I hadn't kept time.
Well, do them start it in June, if that's gonna make you not have heartburn, we'll do that.
Well, just if you're, see, with the elected officials,
Very
the appointed
simple.
officials, you actually keep a timesheet. That's what they're asking for that 3 consecutive month.
Elected officials, it's pretty easy, you go to the board meeting and basically it, and then, be hard for
Well,
somebody.
not really, because I know the hours that you spend outside the board meeting, and a lot of these other members that are checking into things, they're entitled to be credited for that time.
I don't think so, the way it talked, it was time that you were here, I'll have to look back in the book for that.
Well, it seems to me it's gotta be, if you're spending time going out, checking up on town property, or checking the ball fields, or whatever, on behalf of the town, then that should count.
Well,
You know, he's doing
Oh,
a
exactly.
lot more than,
see, I'm not concerned because I'm not drawing a retirement from it, I'm already drawing.
right, but if it's gotta be done, if she
Yeah.
wants it done as a whole, it's gonna be everybody.
Yeah, right, everybody has to do it, right. So then we'll start June, July and August, and we'll make it be June, July and August. It might foul me up on the other end a little bit, but, don't worry about that when the time comes. I want 3 consecutive months, and I want 3 good months that, everybody can remember what they did. Probably, I don't know if we should maybe run off a calendar, or is it easy, would it be easier if we gave you something to hang on to, or so you could put it someplace to keep track of it? We could do that, huh? Like 3 sheets for each. And then we'll knock this thing out. I don't know, I can remember doing it before with Carol, and I just thought, what a waste, you're trying to make things up, you don't know what to write down, but with a calculated time, I understand it a little better, so I think that'll work for us. So, we'll do that. We'll have the calendar ready here. I don't know when, doesn't take long, find a calendar like about 3 pages. So you can pick them up here tomorrow.
We're down there,
Yep, she'll have it. Anybody else on standing with Dave, Joe, you got anything to add?
No, I just like to think of this lady, and I like to see the,
Who it is that I talked to? That's what it is. I talked to Michelle Caruso. Her telephone number is 474-9422. Okay. Next thing, free electronics discard event, May 18th. We jumped on with Shay Z. Altona, as Shay Z, Beekmantown, Altona, Village of Champlain can discard electronics at no cost from 8 AM to noon, Saturday, May 18th, at the Shay Z Highway Department. Electronic waste accepted includes computer monitors, terminals, scanners, ink cartridges, printers, fax machines, network equipment, keyboards, mice, not the real ones, computer accessories, miscellaneous electronics accepted include circuit boards, cabling and wiring, typewriters, telecommunications equipment, audiovisual equipment, video game systems, cell phones, PDAs, whatever they are, iPods, and universal power supplies. They aren't gonna take refrigerators or any liquid or anything like that, just simply electronics that usually cost you to take them to dump. We're working with the town of Shay Z on that, and it is completely free. You take them down to the highway department, it's right on Minor Farm Road, and anybody in town can take them down there and get rid of them. I know we must have a boatload of them here, so.
Does televisions come under that too?
Televisions,
Right.
I think it's a TV.
I didn't hear you say that.
I think there was an article in today's paper.
Yeah, that's where I got this.
Doesn't say TVs.
Doesn't say TV.
No, I didn't hear him say it.
No, it's in today's.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You think it'd come under that?
Yeah. That's all.
You're not in there?
Refrigeration?
No, no.
No,
It
TVs.
says, these items will not be accepted, any liquids, powders, air conditioners, dehumidifiers, refrigerators, kitchen personal appliances, batteries, fluorescent lamps, none of that will, but everything else pretty much is. I was checking again to see if I can see TVs.
Yeah.
I gotta cook that.
I would think. I don't see if they're listed, so. We could always call them, it says if you don't understand, it's got 846-7544 is Stop Spiegel's number, extension 1. If you got questions, so that would be a good question with TVs. In fact, I can ask him. Okay. We had a shelter inspection where we take our dogs and cats or whatever. Usually these dogs, but I mean, it could be cats too. But they have to inspect it, they periodically inspect the facility, and it passed, everything's good to go there, I'll let you know. So that's working well for us this time. Have a lease agreement on the concession stand. We had no bids on it when we asked for the bids. I had this guy that's been talking to me for 2 or 3 years about it. It was John Fensky, lives down here on Joe Wood Road, is it? Yeah.
On the
Woods Falls Road, I'm sorry. And he bid $800 on it for the 2013 season, which runs from the 15th of May to actually the 30th of September now, to operate concession stand. Payment will be made in full by the end of the season. That's something we worked out together because he was having a little hard time with that. And he's gonna be responsible for the $1 million liability insurance policy. Proof of insurance will be supplied upon approval of the lease. Responsible for electric supplied and used by the stand. He will display a valid food service license issued by the Clinton County Health Department, Environmental Health Department. Will maintain and improve the concession stand and keep it clean and sanitary. Will open 7 days a week, depending on demand. And he used to be a chef, apparently, at least that's what he tells me, and looking forward to having somebody in there, so that could work out for us. I went and bought some paint to paint the floors, and he's painting the floors and getting it ready to go. I just want on a vote of the board to accept Ann Fensky as the operator of the concession stand for this season.
make a motion to accept Southwest against.
I'm sorry.
Second.
And a vote, please. Jeannie? Yes. Larry?
Yes.
Herb?
Yes.
Joey?
Yes.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Clinton County Treasurer's Office, our pilot program that we had, what happened?
No, just
Didn't
where
have
it's
Will I spell his name?
Sorry about that. Pilot program, when they paid us our pilot payment, they shorted us some money and they straightened it out with another check of $4,840.20. For the corrected amount. That's from the treasurer's office. Number 6, or number 8, I'm sorry, Altona Old Home Days Parade. Father wanted to know if we were putting anything in the parade. Are you putting anything in, Fred, as far as equipment or anything?
Yeah, they put trucks in,
Mike?
couple trucks in.
Okay, we have to know ahead of time so we can contact him. What about the board? Anybody riding in the parade this year? We did last year, my Jeep, but we had enough room there. We got 4 or 5 of us. It's tight with 5, but we can figure a way.
Yeah, we'll get back, I'll get back to you first.
You wanna go? Ron, wanna ride?
Well, if I can, yeah, I'm gonna find out if I get by you on there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's
I'll let
understandable.
you know.
Herb, how about
All
you?
right, with you.
Okay,
So
so,
what day is that?
Alan,
June
Help.
23rd.
What is that?
June 23rd.
June 23rd. See, I think Mindy came.
June 23rd?
I have my paperwork.
okay, and, what you have to do is you put in your entry, what it is, who it represents, and then it says, please add what you would like the announcer to describe about your entry. And I'll just put in town board, and if we need to, we'll find a different vehicle. If mine's too small, depends on how many ride with us.
You want to decorate this theme?
Okay.
What's the theme?
Music. Your favorite music?
I really don't have any, so we'll probably skip that and go on to something else. Just, maybe, like we do, red, white, and blue stuff. Whatever you have, that's what we'll go with.
Do you have any extra spray paint to decorate the
You didn't want me to use tape on it.
Paint on it. Scratch
I
it.
didn't want to tape.
Spray paint will scratch it.
Carol usually goes with us, and anybody else that wants to, we'll get bigger vehicles we need. Yeah, if we get a boss, we'll get it.
I want to see it.
All right, Clinton County Highway, I have the letters here that Carol had contacted our county highway department, Al Roscoe, about the speed limit sign on the Brunel Road. And Al got a hold of Mike Graham, who's acting regional traffic engineer. He acknowledged getting his letter and is going to have it, we'll evaluate the need for the reduced speed zone at this location and with input from the traffic sergeant and New York State Police and inform you of our findings. They haven't done that yet, but at least it's on, all in the works.
Actually, the time frame hasn't been bad.
No,
It
not
wasn't
really.
bad
No.
on the, where the woods
No.
was, but that wasn't bad.
No.
Been pretty good about it. Fred and Sandy say you had asked that, well, I think they asked Jonathan Beach, but they, about doing something about cable and internet service. Rodney Brown responded to that. He said, I searched the question of cable and internet service for Mr. Say, who further provided additional information as follows. Through federal grant funding, the Development Authority of the North Country extended fiber optic cable throughout several areas of the North Country, including Clinton County. In Clinton County, cable was extended from Plattsburgh along the military turnpike to Route 11 and into Franklin County, and from Plattsburgh to the village of Denimora along Route 374. So I didn't know that, it's already in there. The cable is considered part of the open access network that is available to all service providers, meaning that service providers such as Charter or Verizon could connect to the network to reach their customers. It's up to the service providers to determine if enough demand exists to connect to the network and provide access to customers that are located in areas near the existing network. Please contact with further information. Well, at least the cable's there, but good luck getting them to run it if you know, if you got so many, the same thing we did with the cable TV, you had to have so many houses per mile, that kind of thing, probably, so. But at least the cable's in there, so it's just a matter of, one of these carriers wanting to do it, you know? Maybe if enough people keep after them, they will. Feinberg Park is due to open here on the 15th. We still have trees to cut. Fred's gonna try to help me out as soon as he gets straightened out with that road that he's working on there. So hopefully toward the later part of it, we have got some bad ones. They did mark some that weren't dead, so I told Fred just take up the ones that are dead, as many as he can at this time, and work on it as we can. They wanted topsoil on a lot up there, and then I ordered a load, and then looked, and we have a pile already up there, so I'm gonna try to use that. I'll try to do that this week and see if I can spread that myself and get it there, because those guys are really busy on that road. I think other than that, the park's pretty much ready, the concession stand's ready. I did talk to the guy about that day too, letting him know that you'll
Yeah,
work
we
with him
talked
on
to
that. And other than the trees being cut and that little topsoil put down, snowmobiles ruined part of our septic. They ran over one of the pipes. Gerald said he thinks he can fix it himself, so. I don't know why they insist on riding up in there with snowmobiles and four-wheelers, but they do, and lo and behold, they ran over one of our septic pipes, so. That would be the only drawback. Other than that, the park would be ready.
You crush it, Billy?
Broke it, I guess, he broke it, so he's gonna try to mend it back together. Next, the highway department, I got on there, was asked today about the Barnaby Road. Fred says that's one he's gonna try to pave. Currently, they're working on their own road, right? They found a spot where they're afraid the bus was gonna fall in, it was so bad, and they've got a new pipe going in. You wanna elaborate on any of that, Fred? What you've been doing this month?
Yeah. On this, side of the road, the wash right out, there's like 2-3 big stones in there holding it in there. We got in the rain, keep washing it out, and the side of that road would cave right in, so we had to replace the pipes up there. Should be done tomorrow afternoon, so the road will be open back up.
We got our big trailer.
Yeah.
That was pretty good find, actually.
Yeah, good.
It works out well for them. Now they can take everything with them when they go on a job. They don't have to come ask for Morris to come and get your equipment. So hopefully that'll work out well for them. Also on that came a big at least 100 gallon fuel tank. So they can take fuel with them to fuel right in the field and everything. So pretty good purchase.
It'll save it, and tires, just running the loader and everything,
For sure.
you know, just tractors and all that.
So that was good, to find that one. They're hard to come by, so we had to scurry to get that one before somebody else got one. Anything else, Fred, from your department?
No, I don't think
Okay. The next thing on their meth lab cleanup, they sent me a whole pamphlet, I said, for meth lab cleanups, but, of course, they found quite a few in Altona, so the thing is scary about these things, it isn't just a matter of catching the people and removing them. There's an after effect to the house, and so if you get kids in there or something like that after, apparently it's dangerous for them. So there's a whole thing in here on cleanup. Now, I don't know if there's something we should do as a board to protect the people from that. I mean, I don't think there's anything in place right now where they can't move someone right back in one of these houses. So I don't know if we should make some kind of stipulation, if it's been caught to do that they have to pass an inspection to protect the people going in there. It's even in cars, so I don't know what you do about that, but I don't know. Some places are talking about doing that, is having some kind of stipulation that they'd have to clean it and have it inspected before they could move someone back in. What's your feeling? I don't know what to do. Anybody have a thought?
Thing is, what does the inspection and the cleanup consist of? Depending on the degree of lab. Did they just have the meth in there? Did they have a, are they
That's-
actually making it? I mean,
That's the key to it
I
right
think
there.
the stipulations that would be a sanction on someone that actually, they just caught someone there without
That's what's in
doing the
here.
actual
Who
cooking.
The
would do
degree
the
of it.
inspecting?
Well, that, we would have, they must have a group that would do it, you know. But that's in here covered, what, you know, what aspect, are they cooking, are they
Sure.
just there, or what happened? It may be worth looking into adding something in our zoning law about it. But being very careful that we don't put stipulations that somebody can't meet and end up losing their
Yeah.
place out of it, we don't want that.
They have to have an engineer come in and inspect it, or,
Yeah.
you know,
I
cost you $500,000.
didn't read all this yet, I started to go through it, but it had so many different stipulations there that, I'm sure this is gonna be a hot topic for a while here anyways, and when I go to the supervisors meeting, I might see what other towns are doing about it. They got remediation standards, techniques of how to clean it. I guess they got it pretty much all covered, but this is only a trial draft copy of this, so I think it's new enough, so they haven't really finalized anything anywhere yet. But, There's quite a lot to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd like to learn more about it before I.
We could table that.
Sure,
Just learn more on the topic, or read that, or get some more information.
yeah, we can do that, we can make copies of this. We can also, I'll try to bring it up at the supervisors meeting. It doesn't have to be done immediately, but
Right.
I don't want some little kid getting hurt over that if, you know, if we can prevent it, so. Why don't we do that? We'll look into it and see what we can come up with. We'll make copies for the board then of that.
Greg, do you have anything to offer on that? Do you guys have any training?
Not as far as cleaning up after.
Just to recognize it?
Fortunately, so far, they've been just one pot methods, which I don't believe I'm not an expert, but I don't believe there's gonna be widespread contamination throughout the house. We did have one bigger red phosphorus method lab lately, but most of them are just a one pot method again. I don't think it comes to a point where it's that bad yet.
At least hadn't been caught up with it yet. But it's gonna be quite involved, I think, by the way it's going. But anyways, that's a good thing for everybody. Tries to get educated on it before we, I don't wanna just make a decision without
Right,
knowing
yeah,
all the
exactly.
details. Sidewalks, I've got one quote back, I've got two others coming, and that's what we're waiting on now for that. I guess everybody was kind of in agreement to go from the post office down to the church hall first. Then I didn't know, we were gonna try to look into where it should go next. We could start on the Stark Road, go back toward the beginning of the park entryway, that would finish that whole side, or we could skip over here and do this side, I don't know. Anybody have a preference on that before we?
You see a lot of people over there, you see a lot of people right here in front.
Yeah.
So,
That's definitely a good section, and there's a
Right.
section down through here that's,
Well, right here, back of the store, where that tree is pushed the sidewalk
yeah,
up, is a bad
actually right
spot.
from there, there's a section down here too that's.
But should we jump around, or should we go from Stark Road up to the beginning of the park and finish that whole side, or how do you
I
wanna?
think we finished the whole night.
Or as much as we can?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you'd like to, in the same token, repair what needs to be. You know,
Yeah.
Where's the,
If it just has a couple cracks in it, stress cracks, that's one thing, but if this section over here has got holes, you know, where chunks are broke off, or like even, yeah, I know it's a pain jumping around, but
Well,
you wanna look at the.
the way I look at it, we've got time, if we're gonna do that one section first, if you guys come up with an idea, you wanna jump to another spot, tell me, if you don't, I'll take the rest of it up toward the other.
Or you can
end.
just take another look perhaps, you know.
Yeah,
Fix that.
that way we're
section.
not being held up
Yeah.
in the waiting,
Yeah, sounds good.
okay? So, yeah. I've been working steady on that, Friends of the North Country, that, emergency thing that we had to do. I'm not done with it yet, it's getting typed, and once we get it typed, we can get it sent in. It's in case of emergency, a flood, a fire, or whatever, and we've been trying to make a list of all the people that lived around the rock that we would maybe have to, get in touch with if there was a fire on the rock, and also the flood. We had the flood pretty much covered, so. The things that they noticed when they went through it before, we've already taken care of, they've all been addressed, so we're in pretty good shape there, just to let you know that. All right, anybody have anything to address the board? Marie, over here?
Yes, I do. I'm sorry I didn't get it to you ahead of time, so it's good for me on the agenda. I have a petition, and I'm going to present to you the one with all the signatures, and the rest will get photocopies. Because we have been promised to have our road, which is the Station Street, done since before Kenny got in. That was his first promise, and every year it's a promise, and it's a promise, and every year we don't get it, and it's getting worse every year. This contains 22 different family signatures, and there were some at the senior housing that I wasn't able to get because I'd been back twice and they still weren't there. You can read it for yourself, and I'm down by Kenny Barcomb's. That dip is getting worse, that culvert pipe is collapsing, so you got an automatic speed bump. Mr. Gilbert, that lives, you know, where the Family Dollar's going, tells me that that culvert is so bad that he takes his car jack over there every spring to open it up because the weight of the snow and the plows and everything keeps collapsing it. And they go through and patch it, and if the patches last 2 weeks, we're doing good. This year, the sides of the roads, the tarmac is almost completely demolished, 3/4 of the way around, where it joins the main road over there. There's holes. Now, I started out just to do my street, and when people in town heard about it, they wanted to sign, and I said, well, I had just said the residents of Station Street. But people walk, that's the block they walk. So people are walking, they're pushing their baby carriages, they're letting their kids ride the bikes. One lady told me that she didn't realize the sides of the road were so bad, and she was keeping her little one on his two-wheeler, and he got into where the tarmac was broken up and fell off his bike. And I know when you're walking with somebody and you're talking, you sometimes don't always pay attention because you're looking at each other, and I was told the hole in the curb, they got into it, hurt their ankle, you know. They didn't come to the town, but they did a lot of cursing, and they said, oh God, I'll sign that, can I sign it twice? And I said, no, just once.
Make sure to go to confession down here.
Yeah, go to confession, yeah. And it is a very busy street, and if we're going to have a Family Dollar store on the end, it's gonna get even busier. And when we've been promised for 20 years and it still isn't done, and then you look up to the Puryear Road, where there's 4 families and they got a super highway, their road was even widened. So that just builds the frustration of the people on Station Street. So somewhere, dig into your pockets deep, because something's got to be done, because people are really frustrated. And if I have to bring back another petition with more signatures, I will be happy to do that. And I have a couple of people who are wanting to write letters to the editors, and I said, please don't do that until we go to the board and ask them to please do it for us after all these years. I know Fred probably doesn't have it in his budget, but did you have it to do You know, you repair all these little side roads, and these are, even when we have old home days, how many people come into town? What a shame when you gotta send them down a road that's all broken up and their little trailers dip into these holes. You know, we've been very patient. We've never come to the board before, but we've had it. So I hope you will give serious consideration. I pay taxes like everybody else here. And if you have to borrow money to put that tarmac down, my taxes will pay for it. Because my taxes are now paying for the holes. And I would rather pay for the tarmac than pay for holes. Thank you.
On my, also on her behalf, right where my little brook runs, that culvert pipe's been washed out of there. The first year we moved up here was 13 years ago. I put big stones, dug them off the lawn, and I patched that up myself. Before Freddie got in office, I told Kenny Brady about it. We're gonna replace that. That was the first year we moved up here. 13 years later, still got holes on both sides of that. When I mow my lawn, I don't know if I'm gonna tip over and go down in that creek, but I keep trying to keep the roadside mowed because, like she said, a lot of people walk up and down that street. And we got a lot of idiots that fly down that street. Why? Don't ask me. In fact, I even saw two little bikes racing up the hill, going up the hill, with a car coming right directly at them, and almost hit both of them bikes. He didn't know which way to go. They had nowhere to go. They both went out to the side, and if they ever got killed, it was on my property. Not nobody else's, it was my property.
And there was one other thing that I forgot to mention. There is a power pole right across from my mother-in-law's, and it was put there years ago, but it should be moved back. You go and look at it now, it's being whittled away because the plows hit it. They have to pull around, but sometimes they misjudge or something and they're whittling that pole away. There's chunks being taken out of it, so it should be moved back further now that it's no longer a dirt road, you know?
And also.
I know
down
that
the hill
belongs
area,
to New York
that
State Electric
streetlight
and
is out
Gas,
too.
but-
Straight by the old man that just bought, just by the woods there, that one street lights out all the time. Up above on the hill there.
Yeah.
And I think that should be actually,
Danielle takes care of those a lot of times. She calls them until they fix it.
I've been
I
trying to
told
get
her, I
hold
said
of New
about
York State
before, so.
Electric and Gas because ours on the curb has been out for months. And sometimes it blinks for a couple times and then it goes off, but it never stays on, so.
yeah, when I go over the hill, it
Huh?
goes
By your
out.
house?
Yeah, the one right in my driveway,
And the other one's right where Mr. Juice lives.
yeah.
The streetlights we can fix, they.
Well, we have a
show-
form to fill out.
Yeah,
We have a form with NICEAG that I have to fill out and send in, and fax into them. But I have to go get the number off your pole and they ask for a whole bunch of information, but as long as I know, you know, where they are, I can go get it, that's no problem.
Well, I tried to do it online because on the bill it says, you know, if you have a problem, go here. Well, I went there, but it didn't get the problem resolved, so I don't think they're opening their emails.
all right, I don't know, how much it is to do that road. I mean, I don't know anything about
So
that.
like a,
What's that,
like a
Milo?
Barbie road, I mean, that road was shot. I mean, as far as these back roads I've been paving, we couldn't even plow them over that, tearing the plows up. These were like some of the better ones that we had in town.
Well, it may be, but how many families live on those roads that you've been repairing
Well, I mean,
compared
that's
to the
all-
ones that are
That's
here?
how much we're tearing the trucks up. That's why I
Huh?
was trying to fix them. We were tearing the trucks up, that's why I was trying to fix them. You know what I mean? They're so soft, then when you get a plow, it tears the trucks up. At least these here were still plowable, but in there they weren't.
And even on the end of that road though, Freddie, when you pull onto it, like off from, like on from Moore's, when I turn on there, there's a pile of water there that, there's gotta be a way they can drain that off by just cutting that back a little bit to let that water go back down in that ditch instead of leaving it laying in that corner, eh? I know it's not yours, it's actually county, right?
County,
But try to get them to do it, it'd be like blowing hemp.
they're supposed to pave that up through there this year, so.
Yeah, they'll pave up like they did before and leave our street alone. They forget that you got part of that they gotta pave. But you know, I
We
can
gotta
count,
pave the Barbie road, 'cause that's terrible, that thing. I I don't know where we're gonna have left for money.
We'll see what was
Gary and
left.
Ivory Road the same way, and they're all hollering up there too, but we only got so much.
You just go down by Marie's and all you see is dirt.
I
There's
paid
not
them all.
even that much anymore.
Give me the money, I paid them all new. It's all to do with
Well, isn't
money.
that what the town of Plattsburgh did? They borrowed enough money because tarmac was cheaper at that time, so they got all their roads done. So they saved money in essence because they bought it when it was cheaper. I don't know what it is this year, but with the price of fuel oil and everything being down, tarmac should be down too.
I think it's done here.
We'll see we'll see. I don't know what's left, but once he gets done that Barnaby Road, we'll see what we have left and, he'll prioritize it. And, point well taken, I realize you need a road there. And, we'll get to it as quickly as we can.
Thank you for allowing me to
At
blow up a
least
little
get
steam.
that part of her street down where she is, even worse with up by my way though. And at least I can know where my holes are. You can't tell where the holes are when you're walking down by her house. You end up falling in and breaking your neck half time.
And it's, people from all around town are doing it. They're walking, it's become a national pastime, so,
That's true.
it's really busy, not just
Nothing
with
but
the.
dirt by her, where she lives.
Huh?
I walk it, it's all dirt where you
I
live.
wind up,
Yeah.
so I had to leave.
Twisted my.
All right, well, point well taken, and get to it quickly and efficiently as we can.
Yeah.
Anybody else, anything? All right. Supervisor's report.
You're such a good girl. Well, that made my dreading. Everybody wish their children behaved like this.
Yeah. We don't have an age, I wish I could behave like that.
Come on, baby.
Herb,
Come on.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Make a motion that we pay the bill. As presented.
We're gonna hold on,
Pending the.
yeah, we're gonna hold on to that check anyways, until we
Yeah,
know the
we
total.
located the bridge.
do you want approval of the bills with the exception of that NVT insurance?
No,
at this
well,
point?
we're gonna write that anyways,
Okay.
because that will lock in keep our continuous coverage. And then we'll do that.
If you decide to increase coverage,
I mean, that road over there, I know it's a little bit rough, but I just tried to look at it, well,
Did we have a
it
motion
ain't
on
that far, and
approval
you're right back
of
to
the
town
bills?
road. Not like
I'll make it
you
a-
got
go
50
figure.
miles on it. Gotta get some of the other longer roads fixed.
And a vote, please. Jeannie,
Yes.
Herb,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Joey.
Yes.
No, that's yours.
That would do it. Why don't you go?
I don't know, what the hell did you do?
Maybe later, Conrad Road. Nothing doing.
That's all I can think of, folks. Entertain a motion to
I'll adjourn. I'll second it.
And a vote, please. Larry,
Yes.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Herb,
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Joey.
Yes.